Good morning. I'm just working on warming up to warming up, and I forget why I sometimes forget, I guess, why I tune up before I start practicing, because it's it really is something. Let's see, let's do this. Let's go ahead and get ready here. Not totally ready yet this morning. If you're hanging out here with me today, you will notice that I have a little bit of an allergy going on, and it's not, you know, I'm not in my top form, but I'm also interested in definitely sticking with this pattern. So I definitely don't want to break this pattern. So maybe you could just help, maybe bear with me as I deal with these little sniffles. So we're starting with tuning. But I started this morning, I sat down with the metronome before I switched the camera on, and I just had this really cool idea. And it's like the dominant, you know, the C and F sharp, or whatever you want to call it, and then a B flat, we'll call this B flat and E, so C, and we're going to call it an F sharp, and then we're going down to basically what is the flat 7 and 3 of the, pretty much the C7, right? But then it resolves to D5, which is really interesting. I want to come back to that because I have a few, I just want to use it as a guide for my right hand. So right hand technique and right hand development is super important to me. Someone was here in the studio the other day and said they could hear a little bit of distortion in the recording, and it was an acoustic guitar, and the player's fingers were not securely seating the string onto the fret. But more than that, there was a lot of velocity happening on the right hand, on the picking hand. So that right hand, or that picking hand, is really important in the way that we decide to present tone to an audience. So let's get right into it. Good morning, happy Friday. It's Friday today. We are jumping right on the tuning train, and here we go. All aboard. Hey, Marlon. Yeah, we've got Marlon on board today. Good morning. I was just sniffling a little bit. I have an allergy that developed overnight last night, and I'm hoping that you can forgive me because I'm not in my best form, but this is going to be one heck of a warm-up this morning. This warm-up is going to beat all other warm-ups up to this day that we've done anyway, that I've done. I don't know about you. You probably monsters just practicing 16th note triplets at 120 on the metronome. We might actually talk about adjusting the metronome as we proceed through the year. So this is a year-long process. Anthony, good morning. Glad to see you. Glad to see you people up and at it this morning. And hopefully you've got a guitar in hand. And if you don't, maybe you can just enjoy a session of relaxation. And then if you don't have a guitar with you, maybe you can bring the guitar, bring some memories or some of these ideas back to your guitar later today. But I'm still working on breath. Good. We've got guitars in hand. Excellent. That's good news. And I'm working on my right hand. My right hand this morning seems to want to strum through the string set and make clean sounds. Just clean tones. And that's a difficult thing for me to do sometimes, is make a tone that's super clean and in tune. It sounds like the guitar is we're getting to be in tune. And one of the ways that I do tune the guitar, I like to stop and enjoy the process of tuning the guitar. So I'll double check and have a system of checks which includes playing songs or playing, things like this. And the things like this help us to remember that we're trying to generate a musical experience. We're not trying to generate a practice experience. Right. The idea is to generate something that I want to be deeply and fully engaged with. And if I'm feeling that, then others will also sense that, will also feel that. There's a lot that we can communicate just by developing that right hand. And what a great opportunity it is to do this right now, at this moment. I have a feeling doing this check with the high E string is going to be a little more challenging because we don't have, unless we want to do it in E minor, Let's do that in E minor. So I was thinking we do, get the top two drone strings going, the 5 and the root note of E. Sounds like the low E string's getting pretty close already. I haven't touched it yet. But you notice that we're getting a little closer, a little faster. How's your guitar? Are your guitars in tune? If you have your guitars, do you bother to tune with me? Because I'm curious about that. If I know people are tuning with me, I want to encourage you to be fully engaged with this, if you can. And if you're anything like me, there's a squirrel that goes by every 5 seconds, so you have to focus on breath. And breath is good. I'm just smelling that bean real quick. So take a deep breath in. A deep breath out. And then I got that mocha pot going this morning. So I've got I'm not sure, I think it's usually pretty hot first sip, so I'm just going to take it really easy. I'm still fasting. I've gone back to, in case you're following along, I've gone back to fasting prior to the guitar warm-ups in the morning. I fast because I tried it out this week, and I tried eating. I went back to eating before, and I was definitely feeling that. So Milan, how you doing? Good morning. Yeah, I appreciate this. So there's this 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗃𝗀 is so hard to tune. Oh man, it's so geez, I'm so sorry to hear that you have that horrible problem of having to deal with the 𝗲𝗏𝗄𝗃𝗀. Yeah, man, I really feel for you. I think I'm going to put you on my prayer list. What a beautiful instrument, you know. The guitar is just a beautiful instrument, and we're going to find out that when I use my 𝗘𝗁𝗄𝗃𝗀, my $50, you know, Craigslist or whatever, you know, internet purchase, when I use that next week for one of my warm-ups, hopefully you're going to find out that it's just every bit as enjoyable a situation to practice on a cheap guitar. If you have a guitar, even if you don't have a guitar, you could be I practice like this. I pretend my thumb is the fretboard, and then I'll go like this. So if I'm walking around the hallway somewhere and you see me doing this, you know, look out. So I use those fingers, you know, and I try not to move any of the other fingers, so I'm speeding right along. So this is what the exercise should look like for me, is I don't want to move any of the other fingers while I'm practicing that one finger. So you can see these fingers are definitely moving around. But I really haven't done this particular exercise for years, I guess. I'm going to start being mindful of this once again, because every day is guitar day. Every day. Firstly, every day is God's day. And then we've got the family, then we've got this, you know, we trickle it down into these exercises. So we've got these 1 and 3s are doing these, you know, at 2 and 4s are a little bit more challenging, but the 1 and 3s, 2 and 4s, those are classic exercises to get that left, you know, I almost said left hand, but it's really your fretting hand. You know, we've got some lefties here, so we want to be conscious of how we're speaking about that. And I got the bean going a little bit more. It was a gift from a good friend. So grateful. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I'm going to continue drawing out this tuning process, if you don't mind. If you can bear with me just for one more moment. And I love the feedback, Anthony. I appreciate the long tuning session at the beginning. I really do appreciate that sentiment. And we're going to continue with a system of checks for we'll call it the key of E minor. But I'm going to be mindful of the metronome as well. 𝗖𝗵𝗄𝗃𝗧, thank you very much. And you'll notice you say good guitar tone, nice guitar tone, and I definitely deeply love to. I used to not know how to express gratitude, and I've learned so much from meeting John Jorgensen. Just the great guitarist, great musician, great clarinetist, just a wonderful musician. And you know, he is such a humble person, and in talking with him, he just puts, it's that Mr. Rogers quality where it's you and Fred Rogers. It's you and that's it. And so that gratitude is really where I want to place my, and just to be so thankful and absorbing that gratitude, because it implies the person has a depth of understanding, and that's how we express our own levels of understanding and appreciation for the things that we like to practice and hold dear. So I definitely thank you for that. Oh, you know about John Jorgensen. Okay. So I'm working on, my pick hand is just all over the place. Let me turn this camera a little bit. Just a wee bit, lads. Just a wee bit, lads. And I did turn this for a reason. Not so you could get a better shot at my ugly mug, but it's here because I'm thinking my right hand is all over the place. I have to take a minute to talk about this. This is a serious, it's not a problem because I don't want to come at it, address it as a problem. So it's not that. But what it is a challenge for me because I could do this a few ways, right? I could just use the sweep where, you know how when we pluck through the strings, we typically will like load the string and then fall to the next. Once that energy lets go, we just kind of shift immediately and very quickly and clumsily to the next string, the next higher string, right? When we're doing a forward roll. So how much pick am I using? I mean, is the pick buried in my fingertips or is it, hanging way out there to flop around? What am I doing? So I really use this as an opportunity to try to understand why my right hand sounds so not good this morning. It's awesomely bad right now, in my opinion, right? But I'm going to tell you why. And I don't care, I have no ego. I'm trying to shed my ego, and it's not an easy thing to do. But I want to be here to better myself, and every day I do this, I want to focus on something that means something. So this mechanical process of going through the string set with a forward roll, I'm doing this in a very controlled manner. So I'm not letting that pick just jump to the next string or fall. It's going perfectly what is this? This arch, it's a small arch. We can also proceed straight down through the strings. We can arch with the arch of our wrist. We can do all kinds of things, but what I'm observing here is the pick has a constant rate of speed, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It should. And then the upstroke would work the same way, unless we wanted to articulate each string individually. But then we have to really start working on other techniques. But right now, I'm trying to focus only on pick technique. No palm muting, no method of control for other fingers, other parts of the anatomy. There's no like biting the strings, that's not what's happening here. This is specifically I'm still engaged in tuning exercise. I haven't even warmed up yet, but I'm warming up to the warm up. So my right hand is going to, the way I want to address the strings here is get a really nice, simple, clean tone that's totally dialed in. And then I want that upstroke to sound exactly like that downstroke. I want it to sound exactly, I'm not saying like I want them to be indistinguishable. Like if I was to record this and then zoom that wave file up, I want to be able to see these being like identical. So I want the decay to be the same. So the dynamic, my velocity has to be the same. How am I going to achieve this? I won't spend all session on this kind of stuff, but this is what I'm thinking about while I go through the tuning process and I play. And when I feel good about that, what I'll do is I'll add a finger on the fretboard and then we'll start, because all of this, of course, all of this is still a musical experience, which requires human breath, because what we're doing is we're processing the musical thought. I'm not breathing in yet. Right, so this is important to keep that cyclical breathing together. You'd know it if you were a horn player, right? And that probably, you know, benefits Mr. Jorgensen's technique, right? Because he has to breathe and think like a clarinetist to play the clarinet, right? To phrase, to blow a musical phrase, to have that capacity to just keep playing without pause or without thought. What does that do for us? I get like punch drunk really easily because I'm not a boxer, but I stop wanting to listen. If see my attention's broken here, right? So now what I'm trying to do is focus, okay? And we're just going to do this part in quiet. And I'm checking for tuning still, right? It sounds like we're out. I'm finding something going on here. Maybe it's a little flat, just a hair. And now my right hand is really starting to looking for volume. So it's like doing this, we're just working way too hard through the string set. I'm just using a ginger touch here. I'm trying to highlight the note that's on the top as the melody. To let it ring as long as possible. And this is simple. I think my right hand is ready for warm-ups now, and I think we're in tune, and we're just going to start it. I think since it's Happy Friday today, we're going to start with 4 attacks per beat. Per beat. 4 attacks per beat, and we're just going to work that 4th finger. 4th finger day today. 3rd and 4th finger. We're going to give 3rd and 4th finger some exposure, some 𝗬𝗏𝗄𝗃𝗀 treatment. George Garzone says, you know, if it ain't fun, why do it? Right before he walks out of the concert hall, blowing his saxophone, playing into the streets, and then coming back into the band, he's still blowing his solos, but the band's still playing, and they're all still playing in time, still playing the changes. And he says at the end of the concert, he's like, if it ain't fun, why do it? Oh yeah, funny how that works. 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗄𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Yeah, that took me right out of my metronomic rhythm. I think 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗄𝗃, it does. We do forget. We take a lot of things for granted, but fortunately for us, we have a lot of people in our lives that help us to remember to appreciate the finer things. And by finer things, I don't mean like bone china that you pour your tea into, or whatever it is. I think the fine things are fine to have and curate and be custodian of for a period of time, but I also think that the finer things that does refer to the finer things of like controlling breath. Am I still breathing? Yes. Did I wake up breathing today? I sure did. So guess what? I'm going to practice breathing like a pro. As if it were an Olympic sport. Because I like breathing. Still working the fourth finger. Getting our stretch on between second and fourth finger now. We're going to move back and forth. This is I think I bit off more than I can chew right here. It's getting better. And there goes the thumb, diagonal behind the neck. I gotta show you this, I think, just so you know what's going on here. So that's what's happening. And if you can envision, my thumb is right here, about this angle. So it's almost a 45 degree, right? We're almost making like lattice work here. So that's a good reference point for me to understand. So by the time I get with fingers 2 and 4 in this exercise down to, you know, position -1 if you've been hanging out, we've got fingers 2 and 4 they require that extra effort and attention. At least for me, for now. But let's get back on track. I'm sorry to derail that beautiful experience that we were having, just working up and down the guitar neck. Okay. All right. What did we say we do next? So let's do fingers 1 and 4, stretch. So I'm putting 1, 2, 3 frets between fingers 1 and 4. And after this, we're definitely going to stop. Maybe you can join me and we'll do a quick, it'll be a great time for questions if you have questions. I'm going to stretch for about 15 seconds here, there. So it's going to be like, you know, what is that, a minute? Where we can actually communicate and take a little breather, okay? All right. Here we go. 2, 3. Just in case you're playing along, I want to remember that in case you're here with a guitar playing along, 5 days a week, we're here at it, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Even if I'm not in top form, I'm going to try to be here. You know, I want to ski those 100 days, you know, or whatever in the Northeast. So I want to be there. I want to show up. But if you are here, bring your guitar. Go through the tuning process with me for the next year. You know, do that, all this stuff. So ready? And I'm just going to assume that you're here playing guitar with us. I know a few of you are. A few of us are here. A few of us are here just observing, wondering what is going on here. Maybe I want to be here. Maybe I don't want to be here. Maybe I'm out of here. Maybe you just blew right by it. But if you're here, I'll count off before I start with exercises. That way you can join me if you'd like. 1, 2, yes, it is. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Oh, we're playing. Yeah, I have confirmation here. Right after this, we're stretching and we'll talk. 1, 2. Thanks for the feedback. 1, 2. You know what to do. Frets 8 and 12 is what we're starting with. And I'm not doing this. It's not a really fast exercise because I haven't done this one yet. You know, I mean, I've done it, but not this week, you know, that's for sure. That's for certain. And maybe somebody goes back and in live stream proves me wrong, but I don't think we've done this. So this is a 1 attack per beat kind of thing, folks. And I use the term folks, probably it's a little further removed than friend. So well, I'm just going to say friend. If you're here, and you're doing this kind of work, I would probably consider you to be a friend, wouldn't I? Because who else is going to do this kind of work to better the self, to better the community, to better the world we live in, the family, the community, and the world we live in at large? So this is really good, promising work. And you do see at the end of this year, you will see that we have amassed a number of videos, live videos, because what we're going to do is after we get a year ahead of next year, like next New Year's Eve or whatever, we'll go ahead and celebrate by looking at the video of the day, of that day, and then comparing it back to the guitar style and techniques and things that we were doing, bludgeoning the instruments in our early live feed. So we'll take the first live feed we did and we'll balance it against or compare it against the one a year from now, and just literally monitor the gains, and we'll take a look at and we'll critically analyze this. I want to make sure I don't forget, because we're doing this for a very specific reason, and that is to see improvements in the self. So did we have, spiritual improvement? Did we have emotional improvement? Did we have rhythmic improvement? Did we have breathing improvement? Did we have, whatever your goal set is, we're going to calculate, we're just going to realize it and maybe publish some of the findings. And I know we are going to see a large charge of technical benefit from this, right? Let's go ahead and try this one more time, but this time we'll use 2 attacks per beat. I've got to make it through this one more position though, and then we'll start to speed it up. I do want to move away from the meditative beginning, right? I do want to get us going a little bit, moving along. So moving along, we'll use 4 and 1, and we'll descend, and we'll do this, and then we'll stretch, because this is another one that's going to, create some of that. Was it the lactic acid or something? 1 and 2, and here we go. And if you didn't get it, just pick up, I'm on position number 7 now. 7 and 11. And then we're moving down to 6 and 10. On the way back up, we'll try 4 beats or 4 attacks per beat. So we're just mentally preparing ourselves for that kind of busyness. We're mapping all of this out right at the moment. And here we go, we're getting ready to turn it on. That's it. That's a good one. I see we have 11 likes. That's another thing I want to practice some gratitude for. We definitely like to see the likes. We love to see the likes. Heck yeah, that was awesome. That was good. Did you follow along? Were you able to keep it up? I mean, keep it up. Keep up with me or what? Too fast, too slow? All right, let's take a quick look at this stretch here. Okay, gotta stretch, gotta do the stretch. Good time for questions if you are just coming in. This is a picture of my hand. I hope you like it. If you're just getting here, the hand is, I do an hour-long live stream just kind of featuring the palm of my hand. So if you're here, just coming here, you're in the right place if you want to see hand palms. No, I'm just kidding. I guess we're doing a live stream, a guitar live stream. And I'll creep my person back into the camera in a few seconds. Good question. What have you all been playing lately? That's a great question. I'm kind of curious. What kind of players do we have here? Yeah, that's a good question. Marlon, what have you been working on? Anything in particular? Start any new projects? I've been working on a Ted Green arrangement that I'm going to live stream and teach you how to play it. I'm going to teach myself how to play it too. And that will be an evening, like a later in the evening kind of thing, where we can just hang on the other side of the day. All right, I think I've got everything. You know, stretched and ready to go. The breath is good. Oh, okay, good. All right, Anthony. Yeah, we'll punish ourselves next week. So today is Friday, and as you know, it's a 5-day week for us. So I won't be seeing you unless sometimes I will stream on the weekends, but it will be probably unannounced, and it's certainly not programmatic stuff. So if you are interested, you can keep your eyes out, but I don't have any plans to do anything this weekend in the way of video guitar sessions, but I do have plans to play the guitar. I'm still working on finalizing Still Neighbors. So we've been working on that and going back and forth between here and Florida for a couple weeks now, and we just ship files back and forth, and then we have a beautiful drum line, just a beautiful drum pattern, and it's so good. And there's a Hofner bass kind of playing that clanky kind of blues, sort of eighth note, quarter note stuff, but really working on tightening that approach. And then there's a guitar riff, which is just the formal structure of the song is in an odd, it's oddly arranged, like it's not symmetrically how we would typically break down sections of songs. So it's fun, and it is a little bit of a challenge to serve that song in recording it. So we'll use fingers 1, 2, 3, stretch 4. We're doing these stretches for a reason, because we're running up right up against it and the Ted Green chord chemistry series right here on the channel. And some of those chords require some really great reaches that we can definitely improve and make easier by doing this kind of sequential work, right? So we have fingers 1, we'll start at the bottom end, position 9, 1, 2, 3, stretch 4. Okay, 1, 2, and you know what to do. Joe DiOrio, yeah. Have you guys heard Craig Brand, the guitarist Craig Brand, New York cat? You probably all know who he is, and oh, okay. You might dig what he's got going on. He's got a few albums on Steeplechase, and he's a wonderful player, wonderfully melodic player, rhythmically, just got the whole thing together, just goes somewhere else, you know what I mean? These are not all going to be acoustic guitar sessions too. I just wanted you to know that we do have some, after the holidays, we do have some Stevie Ray Vaughan. We're going to approach the guitar as if we were Stevie Ray Vaughan, minus probably a few things. But largely, we're going to try to work on tapping into Stevie Ray Vaughan's monster talent and try to figure out what it felt like to play like Stevie Ray Vaughan on an electric guitar. So we are going to dive deeply into that for, I would say it's going to be a week, I would think. Let's do the first finger stretch. Sorry, I think that's what I was trying to do. So fret number 8, position number 8, we have 1, stretch back. It's kind of position 9 still, right? Because we're position players, but we're just reaching back, stretching the first finger back. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to be doing some Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff. And I'm sure there are some experts in this room right here, right now, that Stevie Ray Vaughan has influenced so many of us at so many different stages of our guitar playing that we should talk about him. We should probably go back and examine, some Hendrix and just take a look at what it feels like. We'll listen to some recordings, we'll compare, we'll try to we'll do a little transcription live, and we'll learn how to just kind of hone that skill or continue working on it. But we really want to observe the greats, as much as we can. And I really want to approach the electric guitar, and some of American popular music it just has so much refined, certain periods of American popular music give us, access to techniques we never thought we wanted to have. Never knew about it. We don't know. I don't know what I don't know, So I'm doing 4, 3, 2, 1, stretch back. First finger is kicking back to include a stretched fret. This one is a little bit more challenging, but I'm really working on consistent tone and focusing on where my 4th finger is, because that's going to set up the position change. And it's also going to keep everything in line on the descending pattern. The descending pattern is so important, and it feels foreign to me right now. I don't know if it feels foreign to you or not, but it's something that, it's part of the morning ritual, the morning warm-up. Yeah, there it is. That feels pretty good. Now, what are we off to now? I think we're off to... I haven't seen 𝗲𝗄𝗃 yet. Anybody seen 𝗲𝗄𝗃 kicking around? We'll just do some more 1, 2, 3, 4 stuff with no finger stretches. We'll reward ourselves with a moderately simple exercise, but still focusing on volume and dynamics with the picking hand. Oh, Nathan, what's going on? Priest Nathan. Warming up on the guitar is essential to one's guitar well-being. And what we're trying to do here is generate a culture of finely tuned, highly attenuated wearers of the tinfoil hat. No, this is a spiritual journey we're on here, I think. For me, it always begins with a spiritual journey, and that's where the breath comes for me. The breath is so important because it's the breath of life. And I risk talking like a little on the corny side or hokey side, but I mean, it's the truth. It's the day-to-day, everyday stuff that we take for granted. I really want to have a chance, a forum where we can, if we want to, appreciate and observe all of those things that for the rest of the day, I might just take completely for granted. So I am doing this, if you're new here, I am doing this like every day, 5 days a week from 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually a half an hour, but we tend to run a little over, and I have to apologize. It's not my intention to run people over. I don't want to keep you from your day-to-day stuff. So come and go as you please, obviously. We're not locking the door. So let's take a look here real quick before we dive into the next piece of what we're up against today. I wanted to get back to this because remember that? If you were here with me from the beginning, we talked about this. You might have thought I forgot about that, right? I didn't. It's going to be developed, right? So let's do a quick stretch, if you don't mind. If you're still hanging out, I'm going to stretch. And you've seen me do it, so I don't need to model it for you. Never saw anyone warm up on the guitar. By the way, I think everyone does it, but different way. I prefer playing some riffs and improv with some techniques. Good, yeah. I'm not quite there yet. I know some of us, like yourself, I have friends who were like, Mason, Rick, what's going on? Hi, good morning, everybody. Spiritual journey of understanding music, for sure. With scales, for sure. Oh yeah, it's the universal language, isn't it? But let's see. Some of our friends who are professionals in playing, nightly or every day gigs, multiple gigs a day or whatever, or teaching. Let's say you're teaching, you might feel like you're already warmed up and you're maintaining a level of warm up that you are completely contented with and satisfied with in order to continue without stretching or without quote unquote warming up like what I'm doing. So what I'm trying to do, I've been trying to do this with my students face to face for, I won't really date myself, but for a long time. And what can happen is, I get monotone. I've had people tell me on these comments that sometimes it's a little monotone, Jason. Why don't you wake the heck up, right? Face slap. But it's a little monotone, so I can see where the student in front of me is like, eyes are glazing over. I don't really want to do the warm-ups. I just want to learn the John Mellencamp song, and you can't blame him, right? So what I'm trying to do is teach a man to fish, because that's what or a woman, teach a person to fish. Teach the person to fish because that's what I've been taught, right? That's how I was raised. And I always valued that, because what happens is I can go learn. It's so important to interface face to face. There's no substitution for that. So if you find a good local teacher you can communicate with and it's a good fit, do it. Absolutely do it. Because that interpersonal communication, that folk transfer is how we communicate music in a popular setting, right? We use sheets, we use archives, we use all of these things. But the magic is in the moment of communication. So I would engage in that as much as I could. And sometimes we just want to get on with playing a song, learning a song, the favorite song. It's so cool to be able to play a song and sound like that song. I remember the first time I played it was like, I'm hooked, done. Drag me out of the water, put me in a fry pan, put some cornmeal on my tail, and just eat the whole thing, because it's pretty serious, man. Once you find that you've been bitten by the guitar bug, we really want to do everything we can to do it. So what I was running into in a live, person-to-person interface, I was running into not being able to be content with just walking through, like taking an entire lesson to walk through warm-ups, because clearly some of my students didn't warm up at all over the week. And to me, I have to go through a process to get to the point where I'm in a learning environment, right? So the world out there is just going, wah! It's just going berserk all the time. I mean, there's peace and love and all good happiness stuff and all of that stuff. But to come from that sort of to a practice environment, to me, it takes time. I can't just practice for some reason. I just can't do it. I can't switch it. I'm sure that, I'll be able to, a year from now, I'll be a lot faster and more effective and more efficient at practicing, for sure. And we do actually warm up with scales. Priest Nathan, yes, we do. And that's what's coming up right here. I think what I'll do is save this idea for another time. I want to continue warming up with a scale here. I just had something fall in the shop over there. I'm not sure what it was. So let's take a look at a different tonality we haven't used. We've been using major scales. We've been using those through the cycle 4 sequence, which oh yeah, that's right. Next week, there are going to be some downloads for you, right? So I'll announce where to get them next week so we can all start sort of being on the same page, right? The downloads are going to be, I should give those away freely, I think. At some point, I should probably figure out how to buy another coffee. I guess I should probably figure out how to do that and sustain myself, and feed myself. But right now, I'm not really all that worried about it. I just know that I trust in the big guy being God. And, all of those things, if I align myself with that, all of those things sort of tend to work out, right? I don't know if you ever noticed that or not, but I definitely have. And then, so what we do is typically run through, majors, major thirds, patternize the major scale. That's another thing we typically do. But we also use 4s. Yeah, if you see Craig Brand on the socials and stuff, let him know that Jason Carey said hi. Please, if you do see Craig Brand anywhere. He'll be like, what? Dude, he the boss. Craig is the boss, and he's just really good at gifted at what he does. So usually we'll do 5s too, Oh, on a good day, we'll get that. I'm talking too much. And then we'll do 6s. We'll just practice intervallic leaps. And we'll use 7s, and that kind of stuff. So that's, I suppose, maybe I put it might be already out, so I just need to go find the link and share it with you. You can get this stuff for no charge. It's just one of those things that you can have. It's just, everybody should have it, if they want it. All right. Guitar's starting to get out a little bit. Can you playing God by 𝗲𝗄𝗧? Wow. What a great, you know what? I'm going to go back and re-listen to that. And my guitar is a little out, so bear with me as I just kind of bring it back. is just amazing stuff. Let's start working on some of that. I've got a few things going today, but I definitely will get to that. I am definitely going to do that. Okay, so I want to assure you, I want to offer you positive assurance that I will get to that. Some of the things that I do in my life take me months to decide, you know what I mean? I don't think fast much anymore. Have you read that book, Thinking Fast, or what? Thinking Fast and Slow? Have you read that book? There's an interesting read for you, if you probably already read it. But can you play Polyphia? I definitely want to play Polyphia. If you have trouble gripping 4 frets at once, is it always a question of technique? That's a good question. If you have trouble gripping 4 frets at once, is it always a question of technique? Oh yeah, okay, I see where we're going. That's a great question. Oh yeah, all right, Anthony. So if you have trouble gripping 4 frets at once, is it definitely a question of technique? Because I've had friends, you know, people wheel into wheelchairs and their wrists are fused and they can't move their wrists. You know, I've had the privilege and the honor of working with a lot of people, you know, and some that will come in and take the pencil and just beat your face with just the whole range, you know, from 4 to 64, 84, 94, you know, people want to play guitar. You know, I love to talk about it. And it's almost always a question of technique. And like, you know, if you're French pointing, right? If you're an alpinist, right? If you're in the mountains, if you're in the hills, I'm a little out of practice, as you can see, but maybe I'll take 3 months and get back to it. But the thing is, the technique is what sets us apart. And if we can do it in style, why wouldn't we do it in style? Style's not a total important, you know, it's not totally important, but it can get us there and back again. And it can help others enjoy what we're doing. And it can help others enjoy watching what we're doing, right? So the sense of mastering a technique for the sake of putting 4 fingers on the guitar at once is just a balancing act. And let me see if I'll show you what I show everybody. So you can see that I'm a 5-limbed person, right? Pretty funny. I've got a head, you know, most of us have a head, 2 arms and 2 legs, and then we have 5 fingers. I mean, how awesome is it to be of the pentamerous nature? So we have that thumb, it's waving at you from between fingers 2 and 3. So I'm being very careful to illustrate this. That's where I want my thumb in the back of my guitar neck, the nape of the guitar neck, the back of my guitar neck. I want my thumb pretty much between these 2 fingers because that's how I distribute that triangular pattern between these 2 fingers. It's all geometry, right? It really is all about balancing your approach. You know, I think it's that simple. It's not easy to get right away. I mean, it's not an easy thing to get. So when I say, hey, let's learn the guitar and bypass all of the challenging things that you don't want to deal with, and then you can play Metallica in 3 easy steps. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's realistic, you know? Just skip all of the stuff, the important stuff, the whole reason why I want to play the guitar. I don't want to play the guitar because I want to be on the cover of a Spank mag. I mean, that's not what's going on here. I mean, I used to when I was a teenager, but, and I guess I would be on a cover of a magazine. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Let's say I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I definitely don't plan my life according to whether I'm going to be on a magazine cover or not. Old timer here. Can you explain the scale of thirds, fourths, and etc.? I'm not sure if I understand the process. Yeah, I know that feeling. Wow. I look in the mirror, and every morning I look in the mirror, I'm like, I don't understand that process. So let's take a quick look at what we're talking about. So, for example, we haven't done any open scale, open string, open position scale work. So today is your lucky day. If you came here and you were expecting to see scale work in open position, I swear to God, this is your day, right? So if you were looking for scale work, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to show you the, let's see, all tucked in. Yep, all nice and tidy here. So I guess I could do one of those. Nah, I want to tighten it up a little. It's a little chilly in the air this morning. So it's about comfort, right? So first thing, you see me trying to be comfortable. So once we get posture correct and all of that stuff is, breathing is good, we can then start to focus on the guitar, right? So I have finger 3, finger 2, open G, and finger 1. I'm going to hammer these. Yeah, that's probably something I should know how to do, is hammer on an entire chord, right? In case, you never know. I do split wood sometimes, and if I lost, like one of my friends, mountain lifer, just lost a fingertip to a wood splitter. And I mean, it's no laughing matter. He drove himself to the emergency room through town, and everyone's like, "What's he doing? What's he doing? Where's he going with at that rate of speed?" So we have 3. Let's just jump back into this, okay? Circumtangential. So we've got 3, open D, fret 2 on the E note, F, open G, fret 2 on the G string, A, and then open B, and then fret number 1 on the B string. And so you don't need to see my right hand, right? I'm using alternate picking, right? We'll get into efficiency picking, 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗄𝗧 stuff, and other hybrid forms of approaches to picking at some point, but not just at the moment. So you see the notes we're playing. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm using do or 1. Let's use numbers. We'll call each scale degree a number. Right? So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. And I'll descend 1. It would be 8 or 1, right? 1 or 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, got it? So we have this nice Right, so we have that range on the guitar. Good to know. But I'm thinking 1, 2, I'm skipping over 2, running up to 3. 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, 6, 1, 7, 9, 1. Good. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about 3s. I'm talking about using the 3 above the next scale tone. So let me do this in an exaggerated way. I'll exaggerate it so that we get a good sense that we're still ascending the scale, but all of these other notes are just sort of hanging out above, that scale. As we ascend, we'll hear that there are ghosted notes from the 3 above that scale tone of the moment. So let's do that. I'll call them out, but I'm going to play the scale tones louder than the thirds above them. And I'll also dynamically shift and also alter the length of the third so that we can hear the distance. We can hear the scale rise. We can hear the thirds above it. We can hear the scale descend. We can hear the thirds beneath. wanted to really visualize this, we could do this, right? So the major scale, which we know is always good to practice, because it's our home base, you know. We have the major scale is built from major third, minor third, minor third, and then major third, minor third, minor third, and then major. So that would be major, minor, minor, major, minor, minor, major, and then major, minor, minor, major. So that's pretty easy to remember. And then anytime we play something, anytime we practice something ascending, we want to do this. Descending as well. So that's what I'm talking, that's what I'm referring to when we break the chords down in threes. Now we break the scales down in threes and we're doing this. Oh, I see some comments coming in. That hurts. Yeah, I have osteoporosis. It's the feds, dude. It's the feds. Love it. I have osteoporosis. Yeah, I'm familiar with that situation, and I definitely feel that you could still enjoy the guitar and maybe even strengthen some tendons through improvements in posture. I mean, I'm just guessing here. I don't know your situation, but I know that movement is the key. Activity has always been the key for me to unlock great amounts of success, right? And that's the truth. I mean, I could sit around idle and, you know, like to think that things just come to me. But that's almost never how it works. Unless I pray, like I pray and pray and pray, and then maybe I get some wisdom once in a while. I definitely get the wisdom once in a while, but I have to keep on it. Good heaven, that's so majestic with simple chords. Oh, yeah, I think it has to do with, you know, what would I like to hear? Matt, Lindsay, Roy Curry, some of the, like Scott Ford, those guys are thinking like the national flat picking champions. They talk like, yeah, and the ones who judge, you know, some of the judges say, yeah, well, how do you adjudicate, you know, who's the better player? And then one of the judges says, you know, I just, you know, did I want to hear it on the radio? Is that something I would like to hear on the radio? And it is. And so therefore, you get a prize. So I think it has a little bit to do with how would you like it to be recorded, right? If you were going to play I can hear string noise, I can hear the disconnection of the string from the fret, I can hear a little bit of finger noise at the end after I lift my fingers. So all of those things, as long as I'm aware of the thing, I can correct the thing. But sometimes the thing is beyond my awareness, my range of awareness for the moment. So that's one of the things I pray for, is the veil to be lifted. You know, I want to just be focusing on the things that are very important to focus on. And to me, that is a wonderful compliment. You know, it's a wonderful compliment. Thinking that just something so simple to so many guitar players can be considered majestic and be considered, you know, beautiful. And it has to do with the way you're picking the strings, I think. It has to do with the way you're approaching the string set. It has to do with the way we're approaching the way we live our lives. And like I said, I'm here 5 days a week, every day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And from 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've made a commitment to do this for all of 2025. Now, I don't know if I should get my head checked. I'm thinking not, because I really thought about it. Like I said, it takes me months to make decisions, you know, so I calculate all of the things, you know, before I do the thing. And if is it going to help? or is it going to hinder? That's what I meditate on, pray on. And I have friends who are millionaires, you know, gazillionaires, and they don't start a business unless, is it going to be good for the community? Is it going to do good for the community? That's, to hear someone like that say, you know, Jason, I'll never start a business if it's not going to offer the community something good. And that, you don't hear many people saying that kind of stuff. Not people like him. Do you know what I mean? But I think it does come from wanting to have that connection with the instrument, I think, and other people with the instrument. 𝗖𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗄𝗃. So well said. That's great. I appreciate that. So specific way I can think of a minor scale is as a C major. So the worst is when I try to play some modal scale or just minor scale, A minor scale. Just the A minor scale, like the A natural or relative minor, or just any, which has the same intervals but starts with a different note than I have. Oh yeah. Yeah, Mr. Priest Nathan, I definitely treat all of that modal approach to music as separate things. So, I mean, you've heard Miles, you've heard Kind of Blue. Have you heard that record? I mean, yeah, it's just sort of an asinine thing for me to ask, but I don't mean to be, it's just it's so obvious to me, like I've heard it so many times, and to the point where I probably have limited the potential that I have to listen to other new stuff. But it's just when that horn comes in for the first time on ding dong, ba-ding bum, bing dong, that whole thing is a wonderful modal experience. I think they're thinking in terms of, hey, I'm here now. What can I do with now? Can I blow Dorian over this? Can I mean, what's it feel like? What color am I looking for? And I think they think, some of those musicians think in those terms of, you know, there are so many different approaches to what we're talking about, and it's just so great to be able to wonder about those things with other people. And a lot of what I do with in-person, like if you're a guitar teacher as well, probably what you do a lot is share with your students or your friends how to listen to and appreciate music on multiple levels. Yeah, it's a specific way. Let's see. Do you learn each? Yeah, I definitely do a specific thing. So like, let's say that's a great idea, because I'm working on letting you guys go here because I'm keeping you way over, and I definitely don't want to do that to you today. But I know it's Friday and I won't see you guys for a couple of days, so I'm going to spend a few more minutes here just kind of finishing up, and you're absolutely more than welcome to hang. If you are hanging still, I could definitely use some support on the like department. The likes are at 12, and I like to set goals of getting that up to like 20 would be a good, sort of reasonable way for me to finish this week. If we can do it, if you can just manifest yourself to get that finger over to the like button and just bang on it, just tap it and get that little, yeah, hello from A. Kieran, what's going on? So let's take a look. I'm hanging out. Thank you for the like. I appreciate the likes. It's working. So let's take a look. We just came from major. But what happens if we wanted to turn this into C minor, right? I'm going to say C Dorian. So C Dorian, what happens if I wanted to make what we just did, that sounds like Metallica to me. If I wanted to make my guitars out of tune, apologize. Just been playing too hard, I guess. England. Oh, hey, what's going on, mate? Cheers. Yeah. You had your Boddingtons yet? So no, I don't want to encourage any of that stuff, but I do want to encourage a good, healthy living and good, you know, a good edited pattern of what we would perceive as a, you know, a tough business to be in. So we've got this root note here, which is root C, right? And the flatted 3. Then we're using root and 3, and then we're using the 2, and the root and 3 now is flat 3 because we're in Dorian mode, right? So here's a question for you. Do you have any idea what the parent key is of C Dorian? I mean, this is probably, you know, I don't know. I know some of us probably got it just like that. I know some of us are like doing the head scratch and thinking, man, I'm full of shame. I shouldn't even be playing guitar. But trust me, that's not, I don't know, just look at me saying, trust me, what an idiot. So the thing about it is we get what we need when we need it, right? That's what we pray for. That's what we do. So I meant England. I love how you laugh, you speak great, the way you broke it down. Oh, that's very good. I appreciate that feedback too. Preston Miller, there's you another like a boy. Let's see. I'm not really sure. Let me come right back to that because I don't totally. All right. Oh, B flat. There we are. B flat's the parent major key, right? So we have the root and the flat 3, and then the 2, and then the 4, and then the flat 3, and then the 5. And then we have the flat 3 and the 5. We have the 4 and the major 6, and then the 5, and then the flat 7, and then the 6, major 6, and then the root note, and then the flat 7, which is B flat, and then the, what is that, the 2 of C Dorian, which now we've arrived at a place pretty similar to where we started, but only an octave higher. Yeah. So nice and slow, because this is a different chord pattern, it's a different harmonic structure, it's a different, the framework is entirely different. It's like rebuilding a house, you know. It's like we may as well start the project over again. And you can hear how bright and shiny the scale is if I stop talking, even though it's minor, because when we get to the 6, it's wake up time. Major there. So let's take a quick look at why this works so well, even if the guitar is slightly out of tune. So please forgive me, but I want to spend the rest. I don't want to teach you to play out of tune. Let's fix it. Okay. So here's the open G string. I'm just going to develop a a picking hand sequence. And then what I'm going to try to do is use this picking sequence throughout. So I have the bass note and then the top 2 notes. One of the top 2 notes, the upper of the top 2 notes, is the open G string, which will remain constant through this exercise. Okay? Down, root note, root note, in this case, root note, but bass note and then chord stab. Yeah? Cool. Then we go ahead and ascend C Dorian, you know, at our own leisure. Maybe you can help me, if you're still here, maybe you can help me get to 20 likes today. I definitely appreciate it. really out of my way to not hit that G string. I don't want to interrupt that G string at all. Hey, Dave Keefe, have a great day. I'll catch you later. I'm going to work on some Pink Floyd, working on that 4th and 5th, grooves flat 7, flat 5. Yeah, keep up the positive vibes. Dave, we'll see you later. Have some fun with some Pink Floyd, and keep us posted on what you're finding. So I'm getting ready to do Fearless again on a live stream, just to kind of perform it, and I just have never performed the song, so that's a great. I appreciate you bringing that up. Old boy, yeah, all right, old boy. Play Canon in D, please, sir. Oh, there you go. All right, Dorian, have a very depressed day. Let's see what we have here, man. When it comes to music, I feel like I speak all the language, but I can't actually tell you what's happening. I've opened up quite a can of worms trying to figure that out. Yeah, you and well, I think all of us can relate to that at some pretty deep level. So I think we're right on the money with that. Achilles, what's going on? Yes, you are. You're back in the saddle. Okay. So I think we're getting ready to wrap it up. I wonder a little bit if we can get 3 more likes, get us up to 20. That would be awesome. A couple more likes would be good, really helpful. If you're feeling like charitable today, just kind of like ding the like button. You know, get it ding ding da ding 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 da ding ding, right? Let's get it going. All right, let's see. Ready? I'm going to watch the likes. I'm going to watch the like button, and it's going to change right now. Yeah. All right. We got, I think, one more. I'm going to watch it just for another second. And then I'm going to play the Canon in D. If I can get one more like. If I can get one more. Are we at 20? I can't tell if we're at 20. It looks like 19, but maybe we're at 20. All right. Jameer, please play something, sir. Very nice. All right, good. So Canon to D. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then there it is. Let's see if the next time around is any better. I'm focusing carefully on tone right now. John, what's going on? Let's say, thank you, Preston. Thank you very much for that. So I want to end on a different note. I remember I started this morning. You know what? Let's just leave it on let's find something good that we can, send us away with good vibes for the weekend, right? So let's just get a little bit of a groove going. And if you're still here hanging out playing, I know I've got to get going. I know you've got to get going. I just don't want to keep you, but I do want to give let's do like a little Fire on the Mountain jam or something, because this will give us a chance to kind of work on 𝗕𝗁𝗍𝗔, a very powerful mode on the guitar. I want to make sure I can practice rhythm too. I don't need to keep, I can trust myself to not need to keep rhythm by just kind of, you know, chunking on the strings all the time. I can just trust that I'm going to count 1E and a 2E and a TE and a 4E and a 1E and a 2, TE and a bow, 1 and a 2 and a So we can take a look at what's going on with the A major arpeggios and then the B major arpeggios. What a great way to arpeggiate. Maybe you can play some rhythm with us here, right? Just kind of playing the B with the thumb in the bass, and then 3, 2, 1 on the D, G, and B strings, right on position 7, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then you can practice your rhythmic skill. I'll play quietly enough so if you're practicing this with me, you can hear the metronome. And I'm just going to try to outline the chord changes in my solo, so that way you know sort of where we all are. But we're all playing together now. Ready? 1, 2, you know what to do. Want to try something different rhythmically, if you want to, here's another challenge for you to check out. And this is something I really love to do. I love it when players just sort of take the, the silly, the root and voice. The root voicing is there for our benefit, for sure. But if you have a bass player, it kind of frees us up to do something else, right? The bass player can definitely hammer down the root notes. It's fundamentally the bass player's job to decide what the root note is going to be, right? So I don't want to, it's not my wish to argue that fact with the bass player, right? I want to try to respect my place and his place, her place, and be observant of those roles. And sometimes we can cross paths, but those are things that we you know, are become good at doing. You know, if you listen to 𝗕𝗏𝗄𝗃 and Pat Metheny's album, the duet, 𝗕𝗏𝗃 and Pat Metheny, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's a wonderful, wonderful listen. Sick, short, lick, yeah, all right, thank you. I'm not sure which one, but once in a while I can pull one out. That's pretty cool with cooking. Oh, play the rain song. There you go. That's absolutely one of my favorite songs, and you probably can hear it influencing my approach to the guitar from all of those decades ago. Absolutely. So here's another thing we can do. We can play the chord with the third in the bass. So I'll just give you that shape real quick. So here's the B. Fret 11 on the low E string, choke the A string, fret 9 on the D string. You can see what's going on. If you have problems seeing what's happening, just let me know. Third finger on fret 11 on the G, and finger 4 on fret 12, covering the root note. Root note's way up top. Fourth finger will be happy to thank you for this opportunity. The cool thing about it is we don't even have to change the shape. You know, if I was a pianist, I'd have to be like, oh, geez. It all come to me. I would learn it anyway. But this is so cool because we're able to parallel plane this sucker down a half step at a time if we wanted to. I'm position 9. I always try to use position indicators. It's bringing out that Wes Montgomery in me, and I haven't been in touch with that for a while now. It feels good to be getting back to that, you know. Are you like Fool? Oh, Tool. Oh yeah. Sick, short. I love Tool, man. It's great. So we're looking at this, yeah, shape, and then those guitar player. You know, what's his name again? Just a sick guitar player. You know, just super skilled and super creative, and just super bandmate. You know, super bandmate. I would imagine. So we have this. Instead of doing this, I'm going to give you a chance to just kind of play some rhythm with me. I'm going to solo. I'm going to solo so quietly so you can hear the metronome and keep time. I think the best guitar playing comes from a controlled environment where you can control your volume. And then you could play this shape too. If you've been here, you know what's going on. I'm going to count you off. Ready? Next time around. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. That's another thing that I really want to practice while you're doing this, while you're giving me some rhythmic. I know you're playing rhythmically with me, and I know that we're playing along. So what I'm going to try to do is try to skirt around on one string and try to grab some different melodic tones. This will give us a little lift to think about for the weekend. And then after that, we'll come back and say a break, and we'll connect again on Monday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bat place, same bat channel. So here's the one more time, one final pass. Ready? So 1, 2, you know what to do. B. So I'm going to have to think. I'm going to have to know where I'm going and then what fingers I can use after I land there. So we're in the key of B, right? Mixolydian. So what is B the 5 of? The key of E major, right? So four sharps. All right, so I think that's about where we'll leave it for today. Thanks for hanging out today. What a great time. What a wonderful time. And I think what I'll do is see you guys on Monday morning. If you are ready, if you have any questions over the weekend, please hit the YouTube, Jason Carey Guitar on YouTube. And I just pay attention to, we were looking at the comment section on the YouTube community tab. So don't hesitate to show up over there with some questions if you want. We can get started with questions even before the week begins. And so there are videos coming out, you know, full-length video tutorials for over the course of the weekend too. So keep an eye out. We always launch something on Saturday morning. We usually premiere it at 9 a.m. So if you're with your guitar at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know, we'll see you there, okay? We premiere it, so we'll be there talking. And you are most welcome, 𝗲𝗍𝗄𝗂. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Thanks for your help. I'll see you after the weekend. You enjoy your time, and until we meet again, happy picking.